Welcome. So glad you're here for day 9 of the 30-day challenge to magically reduce your stress. I hope you're having a good time with me. We're in week 2 now, and we're focused on standing yoga poses and laughter this week, which is so amazing, right? So grateful. So as you can see, I've got my setup a little bit more. We're going to continue to make sure we have room for our yoga practice. So placing out your mat or just having space on the towel or the ground. So we're going to start with our mountain pose that we were in yesterday. So we always want to stand nice and tall and mountain, feet are hip width apart, hands can be at the heart to start. Or I mentioned I was actually getting gas last night. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can stand in mountain pose at the gas pump. That's a more practical place than the post office for me, at least. So mountain pose here. So let's just take a moment to breathe and ground into our mountain, to be present and prepare ourselves for a little bit of yoga. So take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. We want to breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. Sorry, out through the nose. You can breathe out of the mouth, of course, if you're feeling stuffy, but I do encourage you to start practicing breathing in and out of the nose. That's our ujjayi breath. That's what we do most often in our yoga practice, in and out of the nose. So you can stay where you are, or I'm going to come to the top of my mat and we're going to step one leg back behind us. I'm stepping the left leg back and we're going to come into our warrior. We did warrior seated the other day. Now we're going to do our standing warrior. So we're lunging into that right knee to start. Our front 5 toes are pointing against that short edge of the mat. Our knee is lunged over the ankle. And it's really important. You want to make sure that you can see your big toe when you're here. So you just don't want your knee facing too far forward. We want to open up through the hips here. And then the back leg, that back edge of the foot is going to parallel with the back edge of your mat. And then we stretch our arms out into warrior 2 here. Shoulders are in line with the wrists and also straight up and down in line with the hips. So really think of engaging, drawing those arm muscles in. I was talking with someone the other day and, none of us want those old lady arms where the arm is still flapping in the wind, right? Or old man arms. We want to really engage and strengthen those tricep muscles. So simply holding your arms out in this warrior 2 is a challenge, right? It can be a fair amount of work, but we can get really strong in those arms and prevent that, right? We want to stay strong as we keep aging. I keep saying that because I don't know about you, but I feel it a little more every day. So hold here and breathe in our warrior 2. And we're going to move our warrior 2. We did this in our seat as well. We're going to inhale, straighten the legs, palms touch overhead. Exhale, lunge into that right knee. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, lunging. So this is a moving meditation, right? Or moving mindfulness, enjoying our poses and our movements. Let's do 2 more. You can also take the head with it, looking up. Good, and holding here. So our next pose is our reverse warrior or our peaceful warrior. Just really letting the shoulders relax down, stretching that right arm up. Hold and breathe. Inhale, coming back to warrior 2. Straighten that front right leg, and we're going to stretch forward and down into triangle. So this knee is slightly bent. You never want to fully lock out the knee, slight bend in the knee. And that left arm goes up to the sky. The torso or the head can turn to look up towards the sky or straight ahead. Sometimes that's too much on your neck. And we want to work on lengthening right here. See how both sides of my rib cage are long? A lot of people want to get to the floor, but they do it in a rounding, crunching way. So this is not about getting to the floor. This is about lengthening both sides of the rib cage right here. So that hand may be up here. This might be your triangle, or it might be down a little further. We're going to hold for 3 more breaths here. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out, deep breath in, deep breath out. One more time. Press down through the legs to come back up to warrior 2. Lunge into that right knee. And then let's release those arms down. Roll the shoulders up, back, and around. Straighten the legs. Let's walk them together, toe heel them together, and shake it out. So warrior 2, reverse warrior, triangle. We're going to do the other side. So you're going to step your opposite leg back. I'm just switching sides. I'm still facing you. So my left toes are pointing against that front edge. The reason that's really important is you just don't want the toes out diagonally, because again, we're protecting that knee joint. So we want to open up here. Back edge is parallel to the mat. Stretching the arms out, shoulder height. Lunging into that right knee. Hold and breathe. Again, engage the arms. The torso is strong. Remember, our mountain pose is showing up in every single pose. If that doesn't make sense to you, then check out yesterday's video, day 8. We talked about mountain pose. So we're going to flow here like we did on the other side. Inhale, straighten palms, touch overhead. Exhale, lunge back into that knee. Inhaling up, exhaling, lunge. Good. 3 more. One more time. Holding here, warrior 2. And then drop that right arm down, left arm to the sky, reverse warrior or peaceful warrior. Again, find that gaze that works for you. You can look up or you can look straight ahead. Feel that side of the body stretch and open. Nice long, deep breaths in and out. Inhale, come back to warrior 2. Straighten your front right leg. Gently reach forward and down for triangle pose. Right arm goes up to the sky. As I mentioned, light bend in the knee, lengthening through the rib cage. So if anything is feeling like it's too much, just take a shorter stance or come up a little higher. Yoga is about honoring your body, making the poses fit to you, not you fitting to the poses. So you shouldn't feel pain. You might feel some discomfort. That's how we grow, but no pain. Deep breath in and out. 2 more breaths. Press down through the legs, come back up to warrior 2. Let those arms come down, slowly walk, toe heel the feet in and shake it out a little bit. All right, so those are our 3 poses for today. I'm gonna come a little bit closer to you, adjust my camera just slightly. So I encourage to do those poses on a regular basis. Warrior 2 is really important to open up the hips. Our reverse warrior or peaceful warrior, open up the side of the rib cage, and triangle is great for the whole body, really. We're strengthening the back, the legs, the arms. So really powerful. So for our mindfulness practices today, what I wanted to focus on for our first one is to acknowledge that the present moment is the ultimate place to be mindful. And essentially, that's what all of our mindfulness practices are. And today we're going to use the words, just those 3 words, or 4 words, the present moment, 3 words. Math is not my forte, or the English language, but yoga is. So the present moment, the present moment. I'm just going to keep saying that, the present moment. So I love this book written by John Kabat-Zinn. Wherever you go, there you are. I think it's right over there on my bookshelf. And it's so true that wherever you go, there you are. So the present moment is always a place for mindfulness. And the present moment is when you're talking to people, when you're watching a TV show, when you're driving your car at work. But what's so interesting is that we are often not in the present moment. So when I say the present moment, what do you think of? What I have been training myself to think of is the breath. And so as I said that and gave a little bit of silence, what I noticed is I took a deep breath in and a deep breath out. So we often take our breath for granted. I try really hard not to. The first decade or two of my life on this planet, I had to work hard to breathe. And it's funny because most people say, well, you don't have to think about breathing, but I was one of those few people who did. I really had to work hard to breathe. And it doesn't sound right, but my body had trouble breathing. I had really severe life-threatening asthma, had a near-death experience, which ironically I'm writing about in one of my classes right now, but I have had to work hard to breathe. And what that also has looked like is to make it easier for myself to breathe, is to slow down and to just take deep breaths in and out. So I really now think back, and I think from the time that I was a baby, I was starting to learn mindfulness and breath awareness and meditation, because I had to learn how to be present, to stay in this life, to breathe. And so that's really our mindfulness practice today. Whenever you're watching this, is to just try to come back throughout the day to the present moment and take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I wanted to say that I hope that you're doing this with me for these 30 days, whenever you start this. If you miss a day, no big deal. It's hard to do something consistently for 30 days. But I mentioned sometime last week about mindful listening and hearing, and just simply going out for a walk and listening. And so this morning, Saturday, pretty early, I went out for a walk. No headphones, no podcast, no nothing. And I just listened. And it was so powerful. And again, these are the things that we know. This is what I have been teaching for the last 25 years. And yet we still need consistent reminders and to encourage and challenge ourselves to do these things. And it was so peaceful to go out for a walk. So again, I know I'm talking quite a bit here for this mindfulness practice of the present moment. Those three words, the present moment. It is really a very simple practice, mindfulness practice, but it's not easy, right? We all have a lot going on in our lives. So taking this time to slow down and really be present in the moment is powerful. All right. So the next mindfulness practice that I'm going to share with you is also one of my favorites. And I think I say that about all of them because, I don't know, I just get excited sharing these things. This is such my passion. And we are going to do the mindfulness practice of celebration. And what is celebration, right? I mean, you all know what celebration is, but we don't celebrate, we don't acknowledge, we don't honor enough. Like, I'm really excited that I went out this morning and had a mindful walk. It was really powerful. I also set myself up for success by having some accountability and capability, and I'll talk about that more tomorrow on day 10 for our practice, our mindfulness practice. But I'm celebrating that I did what I said I was going to do. And I know that might seem silly. Some people that might be super easy. For me, sometimes that's hard. It's easy for me to say a lot of things and then I've overcommitted and I can't do them. And so therefore, when I say I'm going to do something and I commit and I celebrate and I acknowledge that I actually did it, it's good to celebrate. So what does celebrate look like? Well, at this point, you probably know me. My favorite celebration pose is like this, to just reach my arms up high. Again, I talked about this, right? This is part of my goals, to keep that active energy. But when we celebrate, when we reach our arms up in the sky like this, or have some kind of power pose or just excitement, think about when you go to a rock concert or you're saying yes, you're in a crowd with people, there's this extension of energy. In kids yoga, this is like a star pose, right? We're like a star, we're all made of stardust. So celebrate. So maybe that's jumping up and down, maybe that's putting a big smile on your face, maybe it's telling somebody something that you did. But I encourage you to think about this when you are celebrating, even those little things. Sometimes I celebrate that I like put the dishes away every single day for a week. They did not pile up in the sink. It sounds silly. As a single mom, that's a huge accomplishment for me. But celebrating is acknowledging the good, because guess what? We live in a world that's like, when this happens, I'll be happy. When I have this job, be happy. When I have this relationship, I'll be happy. When I have this car or this home. So we're constantly putting off for the future. When this happens, when that happens, then I can celebrate. Then I can be happy. Guess what? Those things happen. Are you celebrating? Not always, right? Like our dreams come true all the time. We move forward, we grow, we evolve. But then do we stop and go, look what I did. This is so amazing. Like, I want to celebrate that I've created this little studio space. I live in like 1,000 square feet. It's small. My office, my gym. I have a little trampoline that I jump on and celebrate. All of that is in like my living room, but I celebrate that I'm able to have all the things that I want and need in my little small space, and it works out. I have to move things a lot, but I get that's more exercise and movement for me. So celebration. So take a moment and just think about your day today. Either if you're watching this later in the day or in the morning, what is going to happen that you're excited about, or something that you're going to challenge yourself. Sometimes it's moving through things we don't want to do and celebrating we did them, or something that happened that you want to celebrate. And just take a moment to think, how am I going to celebrate this? Maybe if it's just saying, I did a great job, in the mirror, looking at yourself, honoring yourself, giving yourself a hug, telling someone else, maybe finding some way that you want to celebrate the good that's in your life. So, you gonna do it? I hope so. Please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. All right. So we're gonna finish with our last breathing exercise. And I want to share with you real quick. This is an amazing book. It's called Breath by James Nestor, The New Science of a Lost Art. And you may have heard of it because it's on the New York Times bestseller. Highly, 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 highly recommend this book. So the breathing technique that we're going to do is in this book. And I was so excited to see that book and have it be so popular, and because I think more people need to learn the importance of breath. So just get nice and comfortable wherever you're sitting or standing. And we're going to do a breath practice where we're going to breathe in to 4. We're going to hold for 7. And then we're going to breathe out for 8. I got that wrong. Breathe and hold for 7 and breathe out for 8. Okay. Even counting on the fingers is challenging. So breathe in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. So I will guide you for the first 3, and then you're going to do about 4 or 5 more on your own. Okay. So close your eyes, get comfortable. You can do this with your eyes open, but I recommend closed. So begin to breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, breathe out, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in, 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Breathe out. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Out. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue breathing in 4, hold 7, out 8. One more round. And begin to breathe normally. How was that? For me, that's a bit of a challenging one to exhale so much longer, twice as long as what I breathed in. But what it does is, again, it calms us to a very deep level. It calms our parasympathetic nervous system by exhaling longer than we inhale. So we did some variations of this in the last couple sessions, but we're really just working on waking up, challenging our respiratory system, doing things differently, slowing down. This mindful breathing is so powerful in so many ways. So we're strengthening our torso, our respiratory system, our brain, our mind is really having to think about this counting. We're so present. There's so many things going on here. It's really powerful. So keep practicing. Again, it's like everything I'm sharing with you during this 30-day challenge in so many ways. A lot of them are foundational that I encourage you to do. And a lot of them are like a la carte. Find what works for you. Do things, do the breathing techniques or the yoga poses on a regular basis that works for you. What's important is that we do some, which is more than none, right? And I know I keep emphasizing this. Maybe you're 20 watching this, maybe you're 80, but no matter where you are, we're all aging, and it's so important to take care of ourselves. This is self care, this is social emotional learning. We need to honor our bodies, teach this to your friends and families, to your kids. Just make sure you are taking care of yourself because we live in, as you know, such a fast paced life, and we really need to have this time to slow down. So I'm trying to make this really accessible that you could get in 15 minutes, 30 minutes. Maybe you just watch this and do 5 minutes of it, 10 minutes of it. So thank you so much for joining me right now in this moment to practice some yoga, some mindfulness, and breathing. I hope that you have a wonderful moment. If you'd like to, please repeat after me to close our practice. The light inside of me sees and honors the light inside of you. And that means namaste and play, celebrate, and have a great day. Thank you so much.